What's up, y'all? Good evening. Hope everyone's doing okay. Check it out. My bra matches my hair. Like I planned it, right? So tonight I wanted to address the whole violence on the Asian community as perpetrated by white folks issue. Um, there's a lot to unpack here. There's a very lot to unpack here. I mean, bare bones minimum, okay, white folks have this, feeling, this, I don't know, they're convinced that they're superior, that the United States is a white nation. And they couldn't be further from the truth on that, like, for real. So, an evangelical Christian man made his way through Georgia, going to Asian massage parlors and murdering sex workers. Yeah, 8 people ended up dead total, but 6 of those 8 people were Asian women. And it was completely racially motivated. I don't care what the Atlanta police wants to say to try and humanize this mass murderer, this racist mass murderer. This was a completely racial issue. And yeah, sure, dude may have been a sex addict like fuck, sure. But that sex addiction stemmed from his fetishization of Asian women, which is racist in and of itself. You know what I mean? Like fetishizing a particular group of people because of their, physical features. That's fetishizing in the most. But if it's their skin color that you're fetishizing, then you're goddamn right. That's some racist shit. Okay? And you may love the Asian girls. You may love the trans girls. You may love the black girls. But chances are that's because of a fetishization. Like us trans girls call them chasers. Okay? Chasers they're typically all straight heterosexual men. 9 times out of 10 they're conservatives who rail against trans rights, but then, get behind their wife's back and make a fake Facebook account and harass trans women online. It's the same thing with guys who chase Asians, with guys who chase blacks, with guys who chase any people of color, with guys who there's so many different things that can be fetishized. And I guarantee you there's a white man out there who's got a Pornhub subscription to that shit. You know what I mean? Like, it's the white man's fetishization of marginalized communities because it's socially taboo. That's what makes it so hot, right? You know what I mean? And it's funny because 9 times out of 10 it's these evangelicals who spend their life in church to try and run away from these things that they clearly need therapy for. But instead of going to a therapist, they go to a pastor or a youth pastor. And they're told how wrong they are and how evil it is. And the next thing you know, they're like, well, if it's so evil, I better stop it. Because if I can't stop thinking about it, I better just remove the problem itself. Right? Because, white men are the most privileged creatures on the planet. So instead of addressing these clear mental issues that this man had, he decided to go and murder the women that he fetishized. I don't know where to start, Like, it's a lot to unpack here. But, it boils down to white supremacy is very real. And the more they deny it, the more they benefit from it. You know what I mean? Like look at the way the Atlanta police spokesman was trying to excuse it. Oh no, we don't believe it's racist. The white mass murderer told us it wasn't racially motivated. It's because of his sex addiction. He just had a bad day. Really? Did George Floyd have a bad day? Because if he did, y'all killed him for it. Did Breonna Taylor have a bad night? No, I mean, she didn't even do shit. She was just sleeping in her house, and y'all murdered her. You know what I mean? Like, it's a double standard, you know? When the perp is a white guy who just murdered 8 people, they take him into custody and treat him as if he's, you know, a sick person who couldn't control his actions. When a black man is accused of trying to pass a counterfeit bill, which he wasn't even trying to, he is strangled to death for 8 minutes straight by a 220 plus pound officer's knee. When a black woman is just sleeping in her home, she is murdered by police. And then instead of having charges brought against her murderers, they're exonerated. No, wait, excuse me. One of them is facing charges for shooting the white people in the apartment next door. Didn't even hit nobody either. Just for shooting into a white person's apartment while you're in the process of murdering a black person, you get in trouble. I mean, it's a step in the right direction, right? Do y'all not realize how fucking idiotic this sounds? It's asinine. And then, you know, the New York Times puts out an article saying, why is there so much anti-Asian violence in the United States today? And then you go back for the last several years and see the same author of that article questioning why there's so much anti-Asian violence has also written 200 or more articles on the communist threat coming from China. Do y'all not see where I'm going here? These same liberals who are so shocked that there's all this anti-Asian violence are the same ones who are trying to condemn China for being a successful socialist country for several years. You know what I mean? Like, and they have really like aggravated and just they caused this anti-Asian sentiment among white liberal America. And white liberal America doesn't even know. That is the most impressive case of Stockholm Syndrome I have ever seen. You know? White liberal America, who, you know, your typical liberals, got the BLM bumper sticker, got the little equal sign, claims to be an ally, but then turns around and rants and raves about the evils of communism in China. And rants and raves about how great Harry Potter is. Oh, I've got all kinds of trans friends, but I love Harry Potter. And I don't care what the fuck you say. You cannot separate the art from the artist. If you still support Harry Potter or still like Harry Potter in any way, you're highly suspect in my eyes. Straight up. Ain't no ifs, ands, or buts. But I digress. Let's get back to the issue at hand. The fact that we have a white supremacy problem in America that has not been addressed in 400 years. Like, look at me. I'm a trans woman, but as a white trans woman, I benefit greatly from my white privilege. I don't get murdered like black trans women do and trans women of color do. You know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, your girl's nice with the hands. And I could probably disarm a motherfucker real quick. I got that Army Ranger training. But, that's neither here nor there. Because I'm a white girl. So automatically, I get so many passes in the eyes of so many people. You know what I mean? My black trans sisters are struggling. They are struggling day to day. We get murdered at unreal rates. They get murdered at unreal rates. When I say we, I mean trans women, but I can't even share that with them because I'm not a trans woman of color. I'm not a black trans woman. I'm white as it comes, yo. Like, I did my ancestry shit. I did my 23andMe, and I'm fucking white. You know what I mean? Like, there ain't a lick of anything other than white in me. You know what I'm saying? And it's pretty evident. Just take a look at me. And even though I'm a trans woman and I face dangers a lot more than most, I don't even come close to the dangers that trans women of color face. Or Asian trans women. And we've got this problem with white supremacy in this country that, even elected politicians refuse to accept and refuse to do anything about. It's like, sure, yeah, you can shill for your constituents all day long. But the fact of the matter is, if you're not anti-racist, you are racist. If you're not actively unpacking and working through the systemic stuff that comes with your white skin, then you are racist. All white people are inherently racist because we benefit from a racist system. And if you don't actively unpack that and change those things that are ingrained in you, if you don't actively unpack that shit and work through it, then you're complacent. And complacency is complacency. And, if you're not actually trying to change, then you're just adding to the problem. And you can post all the fucking memes and posts that you want. You can have BLM as your little profile picture frame, blah, 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 blah. But until you're out there doing direct action and direct support and actively unpacking this stuff and using your privilege to the benefit of those who do not have it, then you are racist. Straight up. And if you try and deny the racism that is clearly alive and well in this country, you are a fucking racist. No ifs, ands, or buts. And now, with this Red Scare propaganda that the New York Times and the liberal media has been shoving down your throats, if it's not obvious that Democrats are just there to keep the progressives in line, then you're blind. Real progressive in this country are silenced by the Democratic Party, who would co-opt our movements and corrupt them and turn them into money-making opportunities to sell t-shirts or whatever the fuck it is that liberals do. And the bottom line is, we got to combat this liberalism. At least conservatives don't try and hide it. You know what I mean? With conservatives, you know what you're in for. With liberals, you know what you're in for too. But, you know, you want to give them the benefit of the doubt. Like, I would rather radicalize a liberal than alienate a liberal. But most liberals don't want to be radicalized. Most liberals are complacent and complicit. And they are fine with the way things are going as long as it doesn't interrupt the scheme of things for them. And they'll donate their little money to the NAACP or to the Black Lives Matter movement or whatever. But they'll never actually do anything to initiate this change. And as soon as their comfort level is threatened, they go on the offensive. On the campaign trail, they're progressive as fuck. But as soon as they're elected, oh my God, they try and bend over backwards to shield for the fucking moderates. We don't want moderates. We don't want conservatives. We don't want liberals. We want health care. We want equality. We want black people to stop being murdered by police. We want the police abolished. Listen here, all you motherfuckers who argue about, oh, well, what are you going to do when someone breaks into your house? You know what? Last time I called the police when I got my house broke into, it took them 3 hours to show up. You know what I mean? The police are just there to protect corporate interests. And the police are there to feed the prison industry complex. There is so much big money in prison. There's big money in locking up poor people. And that's what they do. And that's what these liberals do. I bet if you look at Nancy Pelosi's fucking stock profile, she's probably got investment in CCA. Corrections Corporation of America, or Sidewinder. Two of the biggest private prison establishments in the country. There's no private prisons in any other modern country. Why do we have them? Why is it that we have a prison industry? You know, I guess that's the same reason we have a cancer industry. But that's a whole nother talk we'll save for another time. Anyway, y'all, I hope I gave you some nuggets to think on tonight. I love you, comrades. Solidarity. Stay up and be safe. Wear your fucking masks. Love you.